Okay, so the live stream should be coming online in about 5 seconds or so. So I'm going to just check over on the YouTube page. Over at the Home tab. Okay, so that's live. So if you wanted to take a look at that, you could access it from this link right over here. But if you want to stay on Zoom, that is completely fine. Just wherever you like is okay. All right, let's start the lesson. So this is Hacker Frogs After School Python Programming Basics, Part 4. This workshop is the 4th intro class to Python programming, and during our last workshop, we learned about a few programming concepts through Python, including the following. We learned about string formatting. String formatting is a way for us to include variable values in strings by using what is called f strings. And we learned a little bit about basic string operations. Strings in Python have a number of different functions and methods that can be useful for obtaining specific details about the strings. We can also output slices of strings through something that is called string indexing, or string slicing rather. So in this workshop, we're going to be covering a couple of different topics. One is going to be very short, but the other one is going to be very important for writing stuff going forward. The first thing is Boolean types, and we'll explain what that is in just a second. And the second one is conditions. So conditions are basically, if something is in a certain state, then it's going to run something. So let's explain what that is exactly. So what are conditions? Conditions are how programs make decisions as to which instructions to perform at a specific point in program execution. So what does that mean? Generally, conditions trigger when a statement evaluates to true or false. So let's discuss what that means exactly. So when we're talking about Boolean types, we're talking about true and false. These are very important for when we're talking about how computers work and how programming works. So the basic conditional statement in Python is the if statement, and if statements are written in code blocks like the following. So we're talking about if statements today, and they look kind of like this. So here the program will print one message if the program variable is the string mySecretPassword, which qualifies as Boolean true, and print another message if it is not, which is Boolean false. So we've got our variable password is equal to the string mySecretPassword. So if the password is equal to mySecretPassword, then we're going to print password correct, or else we're going to print incorrect password. So this is a comparison right here. So if is the start of the comparison, password is equal to, and that's what this double equal sign is for. So we have to pay attention as far as when we're using our if statements, we have to use special symbols to denote comparing two things. That's what the double equal symbols are for. So if statements start with the keyword if, and then a Boolean equation, and then a semicolon. So it starts with if, it ends with a semicolon, and then the Boolean equation is in here. Then an indentation on the next line, followed by instructions if the condition is met. So if the condition is met is basically if this is a true statement. Then on the next line, else, and then an indent on the next line, followed by instructions if the condition is not met. So this is the first time we're encountering what are called code blocks, and you can recognize a code block in Python if it has this colon over here. So the colon indicates the start of a code block, and anything inside of the code block is going to be indented. And if it's not indented, then Python is going to give you an error message. So this is also a code block. The else keyword here is also a code block, so you have to indent this as well. This basically tells the program that it's going to print, if one thing is true, it's going to print this thing over here. Otherwise, it's going to print this thing over here. So the else portion of the code block is optional. So this over here, it doesn't need to be part of this, but the else code part of the code block is useful if we want to give another instruction that can be run as part of this if statement over here. So after the if statement code block finishes, program execution continues on the next line. So whether or not any of this code actually runs, whether if it's correct or incorrect, the program is always going to keep on going afterwards. So these are some Boolean operators we can use when we're creating our if statements. We've got this symbol right here, which is a double equal signs. It means equal to. This is different than the single equal sign, which is used to assign values to variables. We also have this less than, greater than, not equal to. So this is something you might not have seen before, but the exclamation point equal means not equal to. And we also have less than or equal to and greater than or equal to. So let's practice ourselves. So we can go over to the online Python website over here. If you don't have the link, once again, you can find it over here. And if you go to the page, you'll initially find some code on there. If you see some code on there, you just need to delete it all, and then you can start writing your own code. All right, so we're just going to play around with a number. So we're going to create a number, and the number is going to be equal to, let's say, 5. And then we're going to write an if statement on line 3. So on line 3, we're going to do if number equal to 5, just like this. So if number is equal to, with the double equal symbols, 5, colon, and then after that, hit enter. It should indent for you, because anything that that comes after a colon here has to be indented. So it's indented. We're going to print something. We're going to print the number is 5. Okay? And then we'll put an else keyword in here as well. So you do else and then colon and then enter. And then we're going to print another thing. And the other thing is going to be the number is not 5. Okay. So that's all we need. So after you've coded this over here, if you click on the run button, then which print instruction is going to go off? Is the one on line 4 going to go off, or is the instruction on line 6 going to go off? Let us know in the comments. Let us know in the chat. Is it going to be line 4 or line 6 that is going to activate? Okay, so user D says it is line 4. All right, so if we hit the run button, then it'll say the number is 5. So the number is 5 because this equates to true, and if it equates to true, then this thing happens. But if we change the number to any other number, so we could make this 5.0. Actually, 5.0 is still going to work because I think it's going to still count it as 5. Let's experiment. So 5.0, let's click run again. The number is 5. But if we made this 5.1 and tried this again, then it prints out the number is not 5. Okay? All right, so what else could we do? We could also do a greater than. So this is less than. But let's try less than. So if number is less than 5, we could print out something like the number is less than 5. And otherwise, the number is not. Well, maybe we could do is not less than 5. All right, so let's try this one. So everybody, go ahead and try creating this code block right here. So just remember that when you're creating a code block, you have to use this colon right here. And with the else statement here, you also have to include the colon. So if we run this right now, is it going to be the number is less than 5, or is it going to be the number is not less than 5? Which one is going to go? Is it going to be line number 4 or line number 6? So keep in mind that the number right now is 5.1. So in this case, sorry about that. So in this case, when we run the code, it's going to print out the number is. I just need to take a little sip of water. Just a second. Okay. So the number is not less than 5 because this number is 5.1. It's not less than 5. So if we switch this over to 4.9 and we tried this again, then it would print out the number is less than 5. Okay, so let's go back to the presentation over here. So we can use any of these symbols when we want to create our if statements. So this is something that that we need to remember when we're trying to create our if statements. So the single equal sign and the double equal signs they're not the same thing. So a common mistake using conditionals is to use the equal symbol for comparisons. We can't do this. The double equal symbols is used for comparison in conditionals. So we talked a little bit about the else keyword previously, but as mentioned earlier, the else keyword can be used with if conditionals to provide instructions to be executed if the if condition is not triggered. So we've done this before. We've got here number equals integer of the input and number. So this is another interesting thing we have to keep in mind about input in Python. When we use the input function, it's automatically saved as a string, and we can't do comparison for numbers with strings, so we have to turn it into the integer version, which is done with this integer function right over here. So this is how we can use if statements to find out if a number is even or odd. So if the number modulo 2 is equal to 0, we're going to print out this number is an even number. Otherwise, we're going to print this number is an odd number. So we can try this out ourselves. So unfortunately, you can't copy anything from the chat in Zoom. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to put this in. I'm going to put it in this GitHub page over here. And this GitHub page is session 4. Okay, let me edit this and put the code in here at the very end. So at the very end over here, okay, and then I'm going to save this out. Okay, so everybody, I want you to take a look at this page over here. So this GitHub page at the very end has this code over here that I had up on the screen. So all you need to do is you need to click on this button over here. So there's a button on, so just go to that link and then scroll down to the bottom. There's going to be a button on the right hand side over here. just click on that and it'll say copied. So after that, you can go over to your online Python and you can paste in that code. So just whatever code you have there, just delete it and then right-click paste, and your code should be over here. So what this program is going to do is when you run it, it's going to ask you for input a number, and then it's going to do a comparison for modulo 2. And if the modulo 2 is equal to 0, remember that modulo takes the remainder after division is done. So you have to divide the number by 2, and if there's 0 remainder after division, then it's going to print it's an even number. Otherwise, it's going to print it's an odd number. So let's try this out. So just paste in the code and then run the program. It's going to ask you to input a number. So you can input any number. It could be as long as you like, and then hit enter. And then it's going to report if this is an even number or an odd number. All right, so everybody, if you managed to do that successfully, and you ran the program, and you got it to print out whether the number is an even number or an odd number, let us know in the chat by typing in I input the number, smiley face. Likewise, if you have any questions about what exactly is going on in this code, please let us know in the chat. We'll try to address your questions as quick as we can. Okay, user DG, thank you very much. You input the number. All right, so let's move on then. Where are we here? Okay. So we've also got this this other keyword called elif. So the elif keyword stands for else if do something else, basically. So else if, elif. However, there's a third keyword, elif, which can be used if there's more than one condition to check for. We can include as many elif keywords as we want in an if code block. See the following. So we've got this code over here. There's a number, input the number, and if the number modulo 2 is 0, it's going to print this is an even number. Else, if the integer modulo 2 is equal to 1, we're going to print is an odd number. Or else, we're going to print this number, is that an integer or not? So we also have this, we have another kind of long program over here, which is this over here. So this program over here is going to ask you to enter an age, and there are a bunch of different elif statements over here, and it's basically going to tell you what age range, I guess, what age descriptor you would use. So you've got age is less than 0, age is less than or equal to 1, age is less than or equal to 3, and then 12, and then 19, 35, 50, 65, or else at the very end it's going to print you are a senior, I guess if you're over the age of 65. All right, so let's try playing around with this code as well. So I'm just going to go back to the GitHub over here and edit it again. This is getting a bit crowded. Okay, so let's put this code in here as well. Okay, I need to change. Let me play around with the indentation. So like I said, if you don't have proper indentation in your Python code, it's not going to go. Okay, I think this is okay now. All right, so let us update this GitHub page. And once more, please navigate to this GitHub page and go down to the bottom. And at the bottom, there's the code block. And you need to click on this button over here to copy the code. Then go over to Online Python, delete whatever code is there, and then paste in the code. Okay, so let's start playing around with this. So if the age is less than 0, it's going to say invalid age, please enter a positive number. Else if the age is greater than or no less than or equal to 1, it's going to say you're an infant, then you're a toddler, then you're a child. So why don't you try putting in your own age and seeing what it says. So click on Run. Oh, okay. There's a problem on line number 19. So everybody go over to line 19 and delete the extra parentheses over here. So you just need to get rid of this and then try running it again. So there was an extra parentheses on line 19. So run that. Please enter your age. I'm going to enter 99. And it says you are a senior. All right, let's try it with another age. So we're going to run the code again. I'm going to say I'm 20. User D says, I'm sure all of us are teenagers. Well, all the students should be teenagers. But you can pretend that you're not teenagers and put in any age you like. Okay, so we put in the age 20 and it says you are a young adult. It's because we are over the age of 19. In this case, it'll say that you're a young adult. And then let's run it again and try entering the number 0. So if you put in 0, it's going to say that you're an infant. I guess that kind of qualifies. User D says, except for you. Well, if I was a teenager, I probably wouldn't be teaching this class. But, well, it's possible. Anyways, let's try running this again. And this time we're going to do 39, and let's see what it does. So it says 39, it says you are an adult. So the cutoff for young adult and adult is the age 36. So after 36, you go from young adult to adult. Is that it? I'm not sure. Okay, but yeah, so you can use if and then a bunch of different elif statements to check for different conditions. Basically, you could probably do like a grading system in the same way. So I think is it 65% is a C plus, and then over 80% is an A, or is 80% a B? I don't remember. I haven't had to do this I haven't had to worry about this stuff in a long time. If any of you remember what the cutoffs are for grades, A, B, C, etc., please let us know in the chat because I don't remember this stuff anymore. All right, so let's go back. So 85% and above is an A plus. Oh, okay, says user D. Thank you very much for that information. Okay, so we can also use the AND operator when we're doing our if statements. And when we're using the AND operator, both statements to the left and right of the operator must be true in order for the overall statement to evaluate to true. So both things have to be correct in order for the if statement to be true. So if the birthday is October 24th and today's date is also October 24th, we're a bit off, then it's going to print happy birthday. So let's try this out. So over here, okay, let's get rid of this code. Okay. So today's date is October 28th. Just like this. And your birthday is October 28th. And then we're going to do the if statement. So if today's date is equal to, this is the double one, October 28th, Actually, you know what? Okay, never mind, never mind. October 28th. And, so and is a keyword over here. And your birthday, ooh, your birthday, October 28th. And remember, so at the end of the if statement, we have to put the colon over here. We're going to print happy birthday. Else, we're going to print it's not your birthday. Okay, so let's try this out. So when we run this, it prints out happy birthday. That's because these two comparisons, your birthday and today's date, were both true. That's why it prints out happy birthday. So if we change anything here, so if today's date is the 28th and your birthday is the 29th, then when we run it again, it's going to print out it's not your birthday. All right, so that is the AND statement. There's also another one. The OR operator. So when we use this other operator here, either statement to the left and right of the operator must evaluate true for the overall statement to evaluate to true. So we've got this code over here. We've got our favorite food, which is spaghetti, and our hobby, which is watching movies. So if the favorite food is spaghetti or the hobby is classical painting, then we're going to print let's take a vacation to Italy, because Italy is all about classical painting and spaghetti apparently. But let's try this out. Whoops. So let's see. Our hobby is watching movies, and our favorite food, spaghetti. So if hobby is equal to classical, that's not how you spell classical, classical painting, or your hobby is, wait, this should be favorite food. Fave food, spaghetti. Then we're going to print let's go on a vacation to Italy. Otherwise, we're going to print let's not go to Italy. All right, so we've got this code over here, and what this is checking for is if one of these is correct, one of these is true. So this has to be true, or this has to be true, and then it's going to print this one here. If they're both not true, if they're both false, rather, we're going to print let's not go to Italy. All right, so when we run this, let's go on a vacation to Italy. But if we were to, because this one qualifies, but this one doesn't. But if we change this one over here, we change our favorite food to something else, let's say ice cream, and then we run this again, it's going to print out the other one. Let's not go to Italy, because both of these are false, which means the overall statement is false. Okay, so there's another operator we can use when we're using our if statements. It's the in operator. So the in operator is used to check if there is a specific item within a container object, such as a list. User D says, I think Italy has ice cream too. That's true. That's true, but and actually there's some famous ice cream in Italy as well. But I guess for example, let's just say that that it doesn't qualify there. All right. So the in operator is used to check if there's a specific item within a container object, such as a list. So we've got our name, John, and we've got our party lists, our party guests, rather. This is a list, and it's got John and Sue and Bobby, and we've got if name is in party guests, then it's going to print you're invited to the party. And since the name, John, is in the party guests here, it prints out you're invited to the party. But let's try this out in person as well. So sorry, not in person, but let's try this out ourselves as well. So here, let's make up a list of friends. So party. So if you got a party guest suggestion, please let us know in the chat, and we'll put your suggested party guest on the party guest list. So let's do 4. Let's do 4 party guests. So let's do John, and let's do, who else is on the party list? Susan, and let's do Michael. We've got a suggestion from user D. It's Adabella. I don't know that name, but let's say that this person is on the party guest list. And let's do input this time. So input, actually, so we're going to call this checked name, and that's going to be equal to input. And the input we're going to ask for in this case is, what name do you want? Oh, actually, maybe we'll do this. First of all, on line 1, we're going to print there's a party going on. Okay, that's line 1. And on line 2, we're going to do the input, and checklist equals input. Which name do you want? Check to see if they are invited. Okay. So, and then we've got our party guest list over here. Whoops. Okay. So if checked name is in party underscore guests, we're going to print checked name is on the list. Else, we're going to print checked name is not on the list. Okay? So just like this. So let's try this out ourselves. If you let me make sure that that this actually works. So I'm going to check if John is on the list, and John is on the list. Okay, so this code works. So I want you to try this out yourself. So let me copy this over to the GitHub, and then we can get going. So up at the top, I'm going to edit this file and put this code in here. Okay, then commit the changes. Okay, so one more time. this GitHub page over here. Just go over to that page and then scroll to the bottom. And you can click on this button to copy the code. And then after you've copied it, go over to the online Python page here. You can delete all the code that's already there and then paste in the code. All right, so you can actually, if you like, you can change around the party guest list. You can put anybody you want on the list. And then afterwards, you can click on the run button, and then it'll say there's a party going on. Which name do you want to check to see if they're invited? You can type in anything. Let's check if the Shy Hat is on the list. And it says the Shy Hat is not on the list, so I'm not invited to the party. Very sad. Okay, so go ahead and try this out. If you're able to get the, if you're able to run the program and check if somebody is on the list or not, please type in the chat, I checked the list. Smiley face. So we'll just give that a minute. Okay, user D has checked the list. Great to see, great to see. As usual, if you're having any problems running any of this code or any other problems, just let us know in the chat. We'll try to solve your problems as soon as we can. Okay, so that's the in operator. So here the print instructions are executed because there's the string listed in the name variable and it's included as an item in the party guest list. So that's what's going on there. So the is operator, so we don't need to pay too much attention to this one, but just for the sake of completeness, I'll go over this. But the is operator is used to compare whether an object is exactly referencing another object, as opposed to matching the values contained within. So we've got this these list of numbers here. We've got X and we've got Z, and they're these lists of numbers 2, 5, and 7. So the contents of these two lists are the same, but the first print function is going to check if X is equal to Z, and that is true. We're going to print is X Z. X and Z, are these two the same object? This comes out as false. And is X Y? So Y is exactly equal to X. So this comes out as true. So if you like, you can do a little bit of checking about the is operator in Python, but most of the time you don't need to pay too much attention to this one, unless you're a programmer. Okay, and we've also have the not operator, and it's essentially an inversion of whatever Boolean value is paired with it. So basically not is, yeah, it's an inversion. So not true is false and not false is true, and that's the gist of that. Okay, so another thing that we have to understand is in Python, these two numbers are associated with these two Boolean values here. So true is 1 and false is 0. Sometimes in programming you'll see that something is equal to 1 or something is equal to 0. That means that that thing is true. So 1 and true in Python are the same, and false and 0 in Python are also the same. It's actually similar in a lot of other programming languages. So we've got these two variables here. We've got variable A and variable B. A is 1 and B is 0. So if variable A is equal to true, we're going to print in Python 1 and true are considered the same. If variable B is equal to false, we're going to print likewise 0 and false are considered the same. If we run this program here, both of these statements print out, because in Python 1 and true are considered the same. Likewise, 0 and false are considered the same. So this is just kind of a little concept that we have to get used to. Sometimes you'll see in programming, you're going to see something like, maybe we've got is admin equals 1. So well, that's kind of weird. So something like is admin equal to 1, and this is a variable, or maybe we've got something like super user equals 0. So super user equals 0 means you are not a super user. It's PK, user PK. Hello. Thank you very much for reminding me of the time. And is admin is equal to true in this case. So is admin equals 1 means true. Super user equals 0 means false. So this is something you might see in programming. Okay, so we're going to skip over the conditionals exercise. I think we understand conditionals okay at this point. But we're going to do a little quiz over here. So part 1 for the quiz is, what will the output be? If we've got hacking equals 1, and then if hacking is equal to true, we're going to print we're hacking. So what's going to print out? A, B, C, or D? Let us know in the chat. Is it going to print we're hacking? A. Is it going to print true? B. Is it going to print nothing will print, hacking does not equal true? C. Or nothing will print, the syntax is incorrect? D. We've got somebody from Twitch chat. Hikikomori says A. Okay, so I'm going to wait for a couple more answers before we check the answer. User D says the answer is C, that nothing will print. Okay, so let's check the answer. So the answer is A, we're hacking. So remember when we talked about 1 and true meaning the same thing in Python? So because 1 and true means the same thing, it's going to print we're hacking in this case. All right, thank you very much. And I think, all right, that's it. All right, so we're going to do a little, sorry, ooh, that's very loud. We're going to do a little exercise, and the exercise we're going to do is on picoctf. So if you have an account over at picoctf, go ahead and log in to picoctf. If you don't have an account on picoctf, you can go ahead and sign up for the website at this link over here, which I'll provide to all the chats. Okay, so which exercise are we doing today? So we're going to do fix me 2. Fix me 2. I think we should be able to do, I think we did fix me 2 last time. We're going to try doing fix me 3. Let's try doing fix me 3. So over at picoctf, let me grab that link. There's no fix me 3. Oh, there's pwcrack. pwcrack and number 3 over here. So we're going to try this out. This is the link to the exercise. So you need to be logged in order to access the exercise. And actually, before we access the exercise, what we should do is we should open up our web shells. So go ahead and scroll down a little bit. You should be on the practice page, and then scroll down a little bit, and then you're going to see the web shell over here. So click on the web shell, and then your web shell session should start. After it's done starting up, click on this button over here, which pops out your web shell terminal. and then you're going to see the web shell pop out and be in its own browser tab. So if you manage to make your web shell nice and big in its own browser tab, please type in the chat web shell up. Smiley face. So if for some reason the web shell seems to get stuck, what I want you to do is just try the process again, close out your web shell, and then try reloading the page. So this is the password crack 3 challenge, and it's located at this link right here. Okay, we see some people have their web shells up. So it says here, can you crack the password to get the flag? Download the password checker here. Actually, wait, did we finish this exercise last class? I don't remember if we did or not. Or if we did the password crack 2 challenge instead. But anyways, okay. So what we're going to do is we're going to, I think we should be doing password crack 2. Sorry about that. Let me get password crack 2 instead. Okay. So let's do password crack 2 instead. And it's this link. I don't think we did this one last class. So it says, can you crack the password to get the flag? So this is password crack 2. Download the password checker here, and you'll need the encrypted flag in the same directory. So we're going to need to download these 2 files. So just right-click on the first link, which is here. Copy that link. Then go over to your web shell. MSEC is raiding with a party of 15 from Twitch. Thank you very much, MSEC, for the raid. We're just going to be finishing up a lesson on Python over here, but thank you very much for raiding. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do in our web shell is we're going to make a directory, and we're going to call it pwc and pwc2. So just make a directory called pwc2, and then from there, when we do pwd for print working directory, we should see, actually no, we need to enter the directory. And then we do cd pwc2. So after that, we should see that we're inside the pwc2 directory, and we're going to download the relevant file with the wget command. So it's going to be wget and then space, and then paste in the file address there. Then hit enter. That's going to let you download the file. So we need to download one other file as well. So we need to go back to the picoctf page, and this word flag over here is the other link. So we need to right click on it, select copy link, and then go over to the web shell, and we're going to do wget on this file as well. So wget space, right click, paste, and then hit enter. Okay, so remember, anytime you want to clear the screen and go back up to the top, you can just type in the word clear and hit enter. When you do ls, you should see that you've got 2 files in here. So if you manage to download the 2 files, please type in the chat, I got those 2. Smiley face. MSEC says, love a bit of Python. Thank you very much for the words of encouragement. To anybody who's wondering which challenge we're doing this challenge right over here. Okay, so from there, what we're going to do is we're going to run this program. So level2.py is the file we're talking about. Does anybody remember which command we used to run this file? Not read the file, but to run the file using Python. So if you remember, it is the Python command. So you can just type in Python and then space, and then the name of the Python file we want to run. So level2.py is the Python file. We know it's a Python file because it's got the py file extension here. So Python space level2.py. So hit enter. It's going to ask us, please enter the correct password for the flag. We don't know what the correct password is, so we just type in test, and then it says the password is incorrect. So we can read the file. We can read the Python file, and we can see what the Python code is inside of level2.py. We can use the nano command. So we can just type in the word nano space level2.py, and that's going to run the nano text editor. And the nano text editor is useful because it does some highlighting for us. So over here, we've got a if statement. So on this line right here, right underneath DEF level 2 password check, there's this statement right here. So what is it checking? Can anybody tell me what it's checking here? So if, and we see on the line above, user PW equals the input, please enter the correct password for the flag. On the line below, if the user password is equal to CHR this, it's going to print welcome back and then your flag. So this is Python code. So if Python code here and these CHR functions over here are going to print out different characters, we can actually find out what these characters are by printing them in our Python online Python editor. So just highlight all of this code over here, and then copy it. Then go over to your online Python website over here, and you're going to paste these in. So what these do is these functions over here are associated with different ASCII letters. So these are different letters and numbers. We can get what these actually are by wrapping a print function around them. So just type in print. After you've pasted it in, type in print at the front, and then put in a parentheses at the beginning and a parentheses at the end. Click run, and it gives us these characters here, DE76. So this is the password for the challenge. So we just need to go back to our web shell. Remember this, it's DE. Let me type it into the chat. Okay, then go back to our web shell, and we can get out of this text editor with Control X. So just Control plus X, and that's going to get us out of the nano text editor. If you're having trouble, please let us know what message it says on the screen. It might ask you if you want to save. Press N for no, and that should be okay. All right, so we can rerun the Python command. So it's Python space level2.py. It's going to ask us for the correct password. We got the password. It is DE76, and then hit enter. And then we get the flag. So picoctf trash slinging over here. So just highlight the contents of the flag there, and then go over to the picoctf challenge page here, password crack 2, in the flag submission page, paste in your flag and click on submit flag, and you should be finished. Okay, so if you manage to solve that challenge, please type in the chat PWC2 exclamation point, smiley face. All right, so MSec also has more fun with ASCII stuff, and at this link right here, let me see where that goes. Oh, there's a chart with a bunch of ASCII stuff. So just in case you wanted to take a look, I'm providing it to everybody else. It's just a table. No worries, no worries. Okay, so if you had any problems solving the challenge, please let me know. We're going to do a little summary, and then we're going to finish off today's class, everybody. Don't want to keep everybody too long. So today we learned about conditions. So conditions are used in programs to determine a program's course of action. They rely on the evaluation of Boolean statements to determine if certain instructions are performed or not. So what's next? In the next HackerFrog's After School Programming Workshop, we're going to continue learning Python with the learnpython.org website. We're going to be covering programming loops in the next session. All right, so for everybody in chat, in the live chat, we're going to be going AFK for just a couple of minutes so I can wrap up the class with the Zoom students. But we'll be back in a couple of minutes, and we're going to be doing some free hacking. We're going to be doing some exercises on the Volnex website for the next hour or so. So please stay tuned for that. We'll be back in a couple of minutes. See you later.